All right, today we're going to talk about dividing mixed numbers. It's exactly the same thing that we did yesterday with one step added to it. Okay, for example, if we had 4 2/3 divided by 6, okay, does 6 go into 4 a whole number of times? No, okay. So then, therefore, we're going to get a number that's close to or a lot less than 1, okay, because 6 doesn't go into 4, so therefore you can't have 1 2/3 or 1 5/6, okay? Now, the one extra step here is we have to change all whole numbers and mixed numbers to improper fractions before any other steps. Okay? Last night in the homework, we had some whole numbers that we had to change to improper fractions. Most of these are all going to have mixed numbers that we have to change into improper fractions. Okay? So, I have to take 4 2/3 and make it an improper fraction. I take 4 times 3, which is equal to 12, and then I add 2 to the 12 to get 14. And so that is 14 over 3, divided by 6 over 1. Okay, so that's the step of changing everything to improper fractions. Now we move to the actual process of dividing fractions, which means we do this. 14 over 3 stays the same. We change the division to multiplication, and we do the reciprocal of the divisor, which means 1 over 6. Okay, now we cross cancel. Jimmy Neutron. Okay, so we look here. Is there a common factor between 14 and 6? Yes. What? 2. 2 goes into 6 3 times. 2 goes into 14 7 times. Okay, is there a common factor between 3 and 1? Well, there is 1, but doesn't help us, okay? And so we don't do anything with it. So that gives us 7 times 1 on top and 3 times 3 on bottom. Okay, and that gives us what? 7 over 9. There are no common factors between 7 and 9, so therefore we can't reduce it any further. Okay, any questions on that one before I move on to the next one? Any questions? All right, let's move on to the next one then. Doesn't change if I have this 1 1/2 divided by 5/6. It still change that to a mixed number, which would be 3 over 2 divided by 5 over 6. Okay, which is 3 over 2 times 6 over 5. Six and 2, is there a common factor? What? 2. So 2 goes into 2 once. 2 goes into 6 3 times. 3 and 5, is there a common factor? No. So it gives me 3 times 3 on top, 1 times 5 on bottom, which gives me 9/5. Now, that will reduce. That will reduce. We can divide 5 into 9 one time, be 5, remainder 4. Take that remainder 4 and put it over the 5 for 1 4/5. Okay, remember this is your cross cancel. All right, let's get one that has both mixed numbers, 2 and 5/12 divided by 3 and 1/3. Now, 3 and 1/3 is more than 2 and 5/12, so that means we're going to get a fraction that's less than 1. Okay, most likely. You could have some fractions at the upper end and lower end and get one right at 1, but since they're that close. But so, change this to an improper fraction. 2 times 12, 24. 24 plus 5, 29. So that's 29 over 2. Right? Okay. Just making sure you're awake. Make sure you're just not going, oh, okay, well, whatever. All right, 3 and 1/3. So that's 3 times 3 equals 9. Plus 1 equals 10. So it's divided by 10 over 3. Okay, and so that gives me 29 over 12 times 3 over 10. Is there any common factors between 3 and 12? What? 4 doesn't go into 3. 3. 3 goes into 3 once, and 3 goes into 12, and this is where you're getting your 4 times. Okay, is there any common factor between 29 and 10? No. 29 is prime, and obviously the only factors of 10 are 2 and 5 and 10, and none of those go into 29. So it gives me 29 times 1 on top, 4 times 10 on bottom. Okay? Which means I have what? 29 over 40. Now, once again, if you cross-cancel properly, okay, 99.9% of the time you don't have to reduce the fraction. Okay, but you always need to check to make sure that there's no common factors between 29 and 40. Okay, because there's a way that you cross cancel and then one of the fractions still can be reduced as a fraction itself, and so that's why I say 99.9% of the time, because a lot of times you don't see that the fraction itself will reduce after you've cross canceled. Okay, so all right. I want you to try this one on your own. Let's see here. 10 divided by 2 and 3/4. Now, how many times does 2 go into 10? 5 times. But 2 and 3/4, that's close to 3, right? Because I got 3/4 of the pizza. Okay. So how many times does 3 go into 10? 3 times. So it's going to be somewhere between 3 and 5. Okay? So your answer, once you get it, needs to be somewhere between 3 and 5. Okay? So go ahead and do that one. I'll give you a minute or so to do it. All right, who has an answer? Brandon, what do you think? Yes. 3 and 7/11. Now, let's make sure we understand how we got that. First of all, we have to change 10 to 10 over 1 divided by, 11 over 4. Where I got 11 over 4 is 2 times 4, which is equal to 8, plus 3, which is equal to 11. Okay, now we do the reciprocal of the second number. correct? Okay, and that gives us 40 over 11 because there is no Jimmy Neutron factors. Okay, 40 over 11 means we divide 11 into 40 because that's an improper fraction. Goes 3 times, be 33. 40 minus 33 is 7. Take the 7, put it over the 11. So it gives me 3 and 7/11. 3 and 7/11. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Three and 4/5 divided by 8 and 1/5. Okay. Isaac, what is 3 and 4/5 as an improper fraction? 19 over 5. All right. Staley, what is 8 and 1/5 as an improper fraction? 41 over 5. Okay, make sure everybody understands. We did 8 times 5, which is equal to 40. Then we added the numerator to the top, which is equal to 41. Okay, remember it's there times that and add that. Same thing here. That times that and then add that. All right. Now, 19 over 5 stays the same. Change division to multiplication. Do the reciprocal of the divisor. And that gives me 5 over 41. Now, Jimmy Neutron, there. That goes once. Jimmy Neutron here. Is there any common factors between 19 and 41? No. So then I multiplied 19 times 1 on top, 1 times 41 on bottom. 1941, or 1941st. All right. I'm going to give you a lot of time in class. You got about 20 minutes left in class, so I'm going to go ahead and give you the assignment so you can get started on it, maybe knock out most of it so you don't have a whole lot of homework. We're doing 7 through 23 and 27 through 35. Now, 27 through 35, number 27 is 38%. They want you to change that to a decimal. So what do we do to change it to a decimal? Move it to the left. So 2 places, so 0.38. 28, they give you 2.48, and they want you to change it to a percent. So we move it to the right 2 places. And that gives me 248%. Okay, so those are real easy. But I wanted to remind you of them. Okay, so get started. Like I said, you got about 20 minutes left in class, a little less, but I think you can get at least 10 of them done by then.